host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my laughing wife over here,
They only
Brenda
knew.
McCain. Yeah, we were talking about some Southern things and, what people eat and kind of get us a little chuckle. So, go Bears. I'm going to say that for Chicago people. Blackhawks. I got on my Blackhawks jersey today. If you all are on Facebook, check it out. That my brother and sister got me this because they know I like hockey. But we got a great show coming up today, babe. How are you doing?
I'm still laughing over our conversation, but I'm doing good.
Yeah, been a great conversation. We've got some great things going. I think you got about maybe 32 days before the election. We're gonna be talking a bit about that on Beware of False Prophets. We've got the wonderful Beverly Washington who's coming on our show from the Win Show. And then we're gonna be talking about closing the gap. Something I saw on there. I'm not gonna take credit for this one. It's something I saw on what was that, Instagram, and I thought it was very interesting how the man summarized or surmised the gaps within our marriage relationship. So we're gonna talk about that. Give a belated happy birthday again to my sister. We celebrated her birthday at a different soul food restaurant, and it was fun. We had a good time. And you got anything you want to add on here, babe?
Let's
The
see.
weather is driving me nuts with my allergies. Yeah.
Yours. No, I just grateful and thankful. We did have a good time Sunday with the
She's
sister.
grateful and thankful.
Yes, grateful and thankful that we're still here. I do have an aunt birthday today, my aunt Darlene. Happy birthday. And it was something else I wanted to share. Oh, you know what? Two things. Shout out again to American Best, to my girl Ace. She got a great story. I think I'm going to be interviewing her for Club 50 soon. And the other thing, see, my mind goes so fast, I never forget it that quick. It'll come back to me.
Getting
But shut
old,
up.
getting
I
old.
am.
You're getting old. Can't remember nothing. My name is Rick, by the way, and I am your husband.
That's your name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's Ricardo.
That's who I met, Ricardo.
But
Okay.
we've got a lot that we're going to be doing today. And hey, if you're anywhere in the United States, check it out again. See if you can early vote. Early vote. Georgia just stung everybody with like, I think it was like 235,000 people did early voting in Georgia. I'm trying to see if I can get the correct number, but Georgia early voting, and they're telling people, especially if you live in a state like Georgia, where the governor is a Republican, you want to get out there to find out about early voting, just in case for some reason your voting slot or place has been changed, or they've taken people off of voting. Some places took voting off of there. They roughly had 252,000 ballots cast on Tuesday. And the previous first day, there was a record 136 in 2020. They did 252,000. Go Georgia, go Georgia,
Okay.
Georgia. They did it, So if you can early vote right now, especially if you are a minority, I'm talking to you. I'm gonna be talking to my brothers in a few minutes. Find out if you can do early voting. Go there to do your early voting, because typically early voting is like in one location, where if you're somewhere like a suburb, they may send you to a different location on election day. Early voting is like in one specific location. So if you can, go out and find out about early voting. Take a day off, get off a little bit early. You can even go on Saturdays, and I know I'm thinking of having it on Sundays, but Saturdays, check it out, because you don't want to go there to get ready to vote, and then you can't find your voting place, and then they're sending you all around the world trying to do it. And like some of us, we get fed up. I ain't gonna vote. I'm tired of this. Okay, that's what they want you to do. So
That's exactly
early
what they
voting is
want
out
you
there.
to
We
do.
talked about that. Check your state, check your city to find out when you can vote early and where.
I just say again, go vote. Because I think we go next Monday. So
Yeah.
for early voting, and you're right, it's at one central location.
Yeah. So funny. They had a central location for us to vote, and then the place was a college, but then they showed a house.
Yeah, and it's like,
I'm like, what? What they doing here? They
uh-uh.
trying to send somebody to all of a sudden everybody coming to somebody's house ringing the doorbell trying to vote. Like, no, you can't vote here. It's almost like Halloween. You got to turn the lights off so no kids come to the house. Hey, we got to go on. We're going to do our show because we got an exciting guest coming up in about another 25 minutes. Babe, what are we talking about today?
Okay, on today's topic, we're talking about, need I say the name Trump? Beware of false prophets.
Beware of false prophets. This is what Matthews 7:15 says. Watch out for false prophets. They come to you as sheep clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruits you will recognize them. Do people stick grapes in thistle bushes or figs in thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree can't bear bad fruit, but a bad tree can't bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Now, we're talking about something totally different there, but what we're talking about is false prophets, and I want to talk to my brothers because I'm hearing a lot about African American supposedly men are an alarming number or an increasing number are going to be voting Republican and voting for Trump. And I've seen this on MSNBC, CNN, and it's out there that he's getting a larger number of African American votes, and most of these people are following the same rhetoric that Trump is throwing out there, is that blacks were doing better while Trump was in office, which is not true at all. But here's the issue that I have is that people are saying in some southern states that they're in is that if anybody is coming to their house in a minority household in the area, it's usually a black man that comes there representing the Republican Party for Trump. And it's alarming that that is happening because Trump doesn't really concern himself about African Americans and voting for them. Let me tell you one of the things that Trump did. I think we forget this. Let's go back down memory lane, as my girl Minnie Riperton used to say. You remember the time that we had the Black Lives Matter movement? And I'm going to go back and then I'm going to step up for a second. You remember January the 6th when they had the majority of white people out there and they stormed the Capitol and Trump said there's some good people out there and that he told them to go, I love you, thank you, go home, blah, 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 at first, but he was wanting to let them just, take over the country because they were patriots and they were fighting for their rights. That was wonderful. But go back to Black Lives Matter March. And this is what Trump told the military. Trump also reportedly told the law enforcement and military leaders he wanted the military to beat the F out of the protesters. And he said, just shoot them. And the Bender's report then, in the face of opposition, said Marley, who was the chief at the time, then he said, because he didn't want to do it, he said that his chief attorney general, William Barr, Trump said, well, if you can't just shoot them, like shoot to kill them, he said, well, shoot them in the leg or maybe in the foot, but be hard on them. And he was told this, and Milley also reported, he said that Stephen Miller, the senior Trump advisor, told him to shut the F up. So this is Trump on Black Lives Matter. Now, Black Lives Matter had black men and black female walking together, fighting. And in a time of George Floyd, he also wanted the military to shoot or harm blacks protesting. How is it that we forget these things so easily when it wasn't that long ago that these things happened and he was sitting there saying, just shoot them? I mean, you could easily do that. Just shoot them. And so I'm trying to understand from black men, where do you believe that Trump has basically helped black men in the United States? He doesn't. Yep, it is. Our producer said it's all about the money. It's that song that says all about the money, ain't a blank thing funny. But you're selling your soul to the devil. We saw somebody in a restaurant who is a Republican, who went to a Republican thing. I'm going to throw his name out there. I'm sorry. Corey Brooks. We saw him at the restaurant. Corey Brooks has gotten a lot of money for his foundation and church here in Chicago. He went to the Trump and the Republican rallies here in Illinois supporting Trump. And like, Kenny said, it's all about the money. They're getting money to support him. Trump is basically saying he's done so much for black people. Wait a minute. Didn't you just say shoot them? And this is the problem I had with black men. And I think Tommy Davidson said, on a thing, and I can't repeat what he says. He said, I want to know who the blank these black men who are voting for Trump. Who the blank are they? I mean, it's out there now. It's not necessarily saying that there's an increase. Of course, they're going to say these propagandas and lies and stuff like that. Most people still believe that most black men are going to vote for Harris. But then they say that the Democratic Party is taking advantage of us. Republican Party does not care about blacks. Not only that, they don't care about minorities. There is right now the percentage of whites in the United States is 58.7%. It's 58.7 and 58.9. Out of the 58.9%, the majority of those, somewhere around 45 to 50% or more, favor voting Republican. So, if they can get all of that, they would never care about what we thought. If all of the whites went to voting for Republicans, you got enough right there. But they don't. So what Republicans are doing is that they don't want your vote. What they want is that you don't vote at all, or by all means necessary, they're trying to hinder your vote. Now they'll take it over to Republican side so it doesn't go Democrat, but they're not going to do anything for you. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. African American people, until we start increasing the populations of African Americans in the United States, the white race is not going to care about what we want. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat. It is 58.7%. I'm going to let you talk, baby. If white people in the United States, that's like going to a Michigan football team and going to see the Wolverines, and they have like a stadium of 100,000 people there, and 80,000 of them or 90,000 of them are going. They're there for the Wolverine, and the other 10,000 is there for Ohio State. Well, you know who they're going to be rooting for? They're going to be rooting for the Wolverines because they're from Michigan. There's 58.7% whites in the United States. They're rooting for themselves.
I don't know. All of this is really crazy. When they say it's going to get crazier the closer it get to election day, you didn't think it would get this crazy.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, you did.
I mean, and right now I'm fearing for her life because he probably, even though they say it's a close race, right? It's no true headliner here, but it's like, man, you would think all the stuff this man had put us through, the people will wake up, especially African Americans, will wake up and say, you know what? Trump ain't did nothing for us. I don't know how they spending this and what money on the average Joe, African American average Joe. No, this man didn't do nothing for them. And if you're gonna vote for him because you just have so much hatred in your heart to see an African American woman lead the country, then shame on you. Because when this man get in office, he already gave us the blueprint. He already told us what he's gonna do, and he told us who he's coming after. Rest assured, when he have that much power, he's gonna try everything in his power to make every threat that he put out there come true.
Trump don't even care about the people that vote for him. He don't. And here's
I
the
don't
thing.
want your vote. No, I want your vote. I don't care about you.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but here's the
oh.
thing, black men. Black women have supported us since the time that we came to this world. They have been supportive of us, being there for us, standing with their man. You know, Dolly Parton, I don't know if Dolly Parton said it, but stand by yo. They have been standing by us thick and thin since the beginning. We, on the other hand, have walked away from them. Let's just be honest. This is Christian Real. We've walked away, you know, and I ain't gonna say what just came to my mind because that's Rick McCain and the Reverend saying no, don't say that. But it's time for us to stand behind the sister and stand behind the woman, Kamala Harris, and make sure that she gets in there because we ain't got the population for it. So now we need somebody in there that can at least stand for us. I mean, let's just be honest. Every 4 years, Democrats come to us looking for us to help them out so they can win an election. They're really not doing that much for us, but we need to force that. We're being divided. And so Republicans are saying, hey, if that's the case, then I'm going to try to divide you even more. And like Kenny said, if I can find a couple of them that I can give some money and, and put them in the house and not in the field, then I'm okay. Because now I got the house people standing up for me, and maybe it'll get the field people to say, hey, maybe we should do this too. Our life is a little bit better with Master Trump being there.
Oh, God.
We've got to get out of that mentality of going against each other because there's not many of us. We got to stand together. Martin Luther King said it long ago in the 60s. That the wealth of the population of the African Americans is like larger than the ninth continent in the world. We had that much wealth and power back in the 60s. What do you think we got now? I mean, our population has failed, but what do you think we have in wealth now? How we can stand together with each other now? You just had LeBron making all this kind of money. You just saw another football player on Dallas Cowboys. I can't think of his name right now. Dak Prescott, making like $200 and some million. They didn't have that back then. We have the opportunity to stand with each other, but the problem is we're not. Now Latinos, he's talking about I've done more for Latinos. He ain't done nothing for you. He separated Latinos from their families. But you got Latinos so enamored by these lies. They're saying he ain't talking to us. He talking to the ones that are trying to get in here, the illegals. No. He's doing divide and conquer because I can guarantee you if Trump gets in office, you think you legal. You're going to find out you ain't legal to him because he going to find a way to put you out of there. I don't think a lot of people remember back maybe in the 40s, I think it might be 40s or 30s, when the Chinese came to the United States. They had a law that sent Chinese out of the United States and banned them from coming to the country. Do you not know that United States is going to stand for the majority of the people? and that the only way we're going to be able to win this thing or get better power and position is by making sure that the people that can get in there does get in there. I mean, without that, we ain't got no choice. You know, we saw Barack Obama didn't do that much for black people. Barack Obama didn't have a chance. You heard the senator say he gonna try to stop everything he does.
Again, what did Trump do so great besides that was
Nothing.
a stimulus check.
Yeah,
Okay, you gave us that, and you didn't want to do that.
He didn't.
So-
Trump didn't want to give a stimulus check. The only reason why Trump is talking about, well, we got a stimulus check under Trump. Trump made sure his name was on the stimulus check. He didn't want to give it to you. He says, but if it's going to go out, it's going to have my name on it. And I think people forget that stimulus checks at that time was delayed a couple of weeks because they had to change the signature on there so his name could be on there. So it seemed like it came from him, a person who didn't even want to give stimulus checks at the time that people needed it the most.
I'm saying it over and over again. Be very afraid if this man get in office because he's not just talking it. If he get in, he already think he's next to God, or probably think he is God. If he get in, I survived two attempted assassinations.
Three now.
Three now. Oh
They had
my
another.
God.
They claimed the guy wasn't really
at
doing
the
anything.
golf course.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I think all of that's staged, though.
I don't
Just
know.
seemed like, seriously, 3 times nobody could get this man. Not saying, believe me, I'm not saying that, but 3 attempts on his life. And to me, it just seems as though it's staged. He was like, Kamala is winning, getting more attention. Let's get the attention off of her and put it back on me with some antics I'm about to do. Like, okay.
And all the racist tropes that he's doing out there. He just said something on TV that, well, I saw in the news also. He says he didn't play football because he didn't want to be tackled from people who lived on the wrong side of the street. He's basically talking about
From the bad neighborhood.
bad neighborhood. He's talking about blacks and Latinos. So he didn't play football because he didn't want to get tackled by people who lived on the wrong side of the street or wrong neighborhood. And then he gets on the thing and says that, you know, there was a peaceful transition. He had to worry about the people from within who may take and steal the election from him. Because, of course, if he loses, the only way that happens is someone stole it again.
Why is it that if he win, we not gonna go that low and say, well, he stole it, which we know he probably did. But if he lose, of course, it wasn't a fair race. Somebody stole it.
Well, I mean, you know, here's the thing. It's hard for people not to think that Trump is not trying to steal the election because the Republicans and Republican states are doing everything they can to steal the election. Why are we talking about this? We said, you know, beware of false prophets. This election is very important because you have a man that's going to be in there who's not looking for just 4 years. He is looking to take over the United States like Putin has done in Russia. Like I think it's I can't think of the guy in China. I don't want to say Yao Ming. I can't think of the guy's name. But the one in China has done. He is looking to be a dictator, and it's sad that he's going to go. He wanted the military to go after the people who did not follow him. He's testing to see if he can do that. He's basically saying that he doesn't think that the Treasury should be able to increase I'm losing my mind now. To take care of the interest rates unless he says something. You know, we're inflation. Should we, you know, increase it or decrease it? He says, I think I know more than the person is there. He knows more than everybody. But it's not Trump. Let me just say this. We got to go. So it's not Trump. It's us. You know, you ever remember sometimes, the last thing I'm saying, you remember, I don't know if it's just happened to somebody, but A lot of times when you was younger and you was always afraid of what was in the closet or what was behind the door.
The boogeyman.
You know, you was like, oh my God, I'm afraid to go here because, there may be something in the closet. Well, eventually you walk past the closet and it wasn't anything there. Unless you're watching TV, you would go past the closet, it wasn't there. But your mind still thought every night there was something in the closet. You got old enough to say, that's just me. It's nothing in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is that person in the closet
You're the boogeyman.
that you can imagine having control of the United States. But he's only going to get that control if we let him. We have to make sure he never gets there again. And that's why it's so imperative that minorities, especially African American men, because the sisters are going to stand strong. I'm sorry to say that, men. They're going to stand strong. They're going to be out there voting. They're going to cast their vote. Sisters going to do it. You're going to be surprised at how many white women are going to be voting Democrat for the third time because they mad about that abortion right. But minorities, we need to step up and make sure this man doesn't get in office. And if he does, I pity the fool that allows him to get into this office.
Yeah, and the ones who don't go out there and vote, don't say nothing.
It's imperative. I mean, young people, get out and vote. I'm excited I saw Georgia, 252,000 early votes. And the thing that scares me is that somebody trying to find a way to confiscate these things or say they got lost or, this election, Trump is going to try to find ways to steal the election. He basically said, I don't need your votes. We already got enough votes. I don't need your votes. Who says that? So we gotta worry about that. But the thing today, Christian Real, is beware of false prophets. Black men, there's no Santa Claus. There's no nice guy. There's no caring about you. And if you can betray your own for a little green, then you are already lost. I mean, we can't do that. I mean, I need some money too, but I'm not gonna sell my soul and sell people out that I know who has struggled throughout the time that they've been here to be able to get a little piece of the American dream. I don't want a piece of the dream. I want the pie to be split to my brothers and my sisters. And I don't want one pie. Give me the factory. I want
mass
production of pies. I want it all around the world. Let me have an Amazon pie where I can go everywhere. Let me have a Temu pie. Where I'm going all around the world where people, my people can get something. So, hey, we're going to go on. Hey, today is Kenny's choice for music. I don't know what he's playing. You're going to hear it. We're not, but this is Kenny's choice. And then after Kenny plays the music that he has, the next voice you're going to hear is me and Brenda talking to Beverly Washington of The Win Show. And we're looking forward to that. Hey, this is Rick McCunn along with my baby, my girl, my boo. We'll be right back after these songs and commercial breaks. Hey, right. So, people, Facebook, YouTube, man, I don't want y'all to think that I'm hating on Trump. I don't like the man, but I'm not hating on him. I don't want our world to be turned upside down by this evil. Let me tell you, this is like the Ku Klux Klan reborn to me.
It really is.
This is white supremacy at its early stage. And if we allow this thing to impregnate us and come out and forward and becomes that Godzilla, or that King Kong or that hidden boogeyman, that's behind the closet, it's gonna really eat us. I mean, I don't think women ever thought, Republican women ever thought that they would be sitting up there voting for Trump and that he would put people in the Supreme Court to take away their rights.
They better wake up. I mean, seriously, wake up. Women of all races, wake up. I don't know what's going on with our brothers or African American men, but women of all races, we know we carry a lot. We are nurturers. We are ones in the forefront that say, we got your back. Okay, you don't want us on your back? Let's take the back. Let's take our United States back, especially black women, which I know they're the least of the problem of people voting. But the thing that get me, I want to piggyback on the presidential race. You touched upon it a little bit with Kamala slamming
Kamala? Is it Kamala?
Kamala.
I'm joking.
Kamala slamming that slime of an individual. Now the thing this he gives off to me signals and signs of what he wants his people to activate. You know, all the stuff that he says, it's like really the enemy from within. You saying some crap like that, the enemy from within to ignite a whole war that day. If you don't win, what's gonna happen on that day, babe?
If he doesn't win, chaos.
Yeah, a whole bunch of chaos that day. And it's like, I feel for her because it's like, please bump up her security because these people are coming after her and everybody else just because I never seen anything like it. With the presidential race, he didn't make such a democracy out of it that it's like, this doesn't even seem real.
Yeah, I think we worried about that same thing when Barack Obama won the presidency, and he was protected that way. I'm not really as concerned about Kamala Harris winning and becoming the president of the United States. I think the formalities of that, we should be fine. That's the prayer, because this is the second time around, and my concern is not her winning. My concern is all the things that they're trying to do to stop her from winning. And even if she does become she receives all the electoral votes that she needs, 270, they still has to certify them. And there's been some places in Republican governors in places they said that they may not, do the certification, which can delay the process. These are some of the things we need to worry about. And because we have allowed the Pandora to come out of the box of Trump, we've set ourselves in a situation where this chaotic stuff can happen. It should never get to that far. We should say no. Republicans should sit there and say, no, this is not the way we do things. If you lose, you lose. They were showing once before when Nixon was going against Kennedy, and Kennedy had the votes. Nixon, said, no, we're not going, he's a legitimate winner. We're not going to, go through this and stain the Republican Party. This is how it works. Trump doesn't care about the Republican Party. He cares about himself. And when you have a person that constantly keeps on spewing up lies and Republicans have to clean things up on what Trump was trying to say, no, he ain't. He's saying what he wants to say. Mm-hmm. Stop trying to clean it up. Stop. And this man's not even president. So what's going to happen when he becomes president? You think you're going to be able to say anything to him?
I'm just tripping on the ballot. I'm shocked that the Kennedy guy really did get out there. And what is he, an independent?
Yeah, well, the Kennedys don't even like him. So
it's like, so we're just splitting up votes here. Kennedy. Well, you would think the whole family was Democrats, but I mean. Wow, he just came out the woodwork.
Who, Kennedy? No, I mean you had all kind of people coming somewhere, but it's everybody tries to run for something and then they try to find a place that they can be at so they can be in power. And like Kenny said, all this is about money, power. That's all it is. Hey, we got about 5 seconds left before we get back on the air. So listen up. We're finna come right back on. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, author Brenda McCain. Hey, we're going to have our guest come on in a few seconds, Beverly Washington from The Win Show. But make sure you check out the JD Morning Show each Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. Only on SOAR Radio. You hear Justin Kennedy again talking about some amazing topics, similar to what we're talking about as well. So you get ready for that. Hope you will enjoy it. Just make sure you check out the JD Morning Show each Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. only on SOAR Radio. And if you want to be SOAR Radio host, just like Miss Bev and we are here, you can contact SOAR at soarradio.com. That's SOAR at soarradio.com. Hey, keep it clean. This is a Christian thing. You might want to have your church on there. You may want to have your own Christian show. You can do that as well. This is the two-time Stellar Award winner for Best Internet Station of the Year. And the SOAR Awards are coming to Chicago. We're looking forward to that. So if you want to see some great stars come to Chicago in 2025 and you want to have your own show on that same network, SOAR Radio, you can contact them at SOAR at soarradio.com. That's SOAR at soarradio.com. We've got our guest on the show, baby. You got an introduction from Miss Bev. From I almost gonna say it, but I'll let you do it. I'm a preacher, so I get excited.
Welcome, Miss Bev. Miss Bev, B-E-V, Beverly Washington from the Win Radio Show. She is the host of that show, and I believe it come on Sunday. You're going to give us all the information with that. But welcome to our show tonight, because she only deal with winners, babe.
Okay, well, that means that I'm in. I don't know about you, but I'm in.
I'm in, too. Okay.
How you doing, Miss Bev?
Hello.
Hello.
How
How's
y'all
things?
doing?
We're doing good. So
Wonderful.
we want to find out. I mean, I just saw this. It says W.I.N. So explain how you break that down and what does that mean for that. So tell people about the Win Show and tell us how that abbreviation breaks down.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. The WIN is Winners Inspiring Nation. And we just are a motivational show that inspire people from all walks of life. It doesn't matter your title or your position or your bank account. Everybody needs to be encouraged sometime or another. So it's Winners Inspiring Nation.
Yeah, I'm just reading something and I really love what I'm reading here. It says, "Don't get caught up in what you see in the mirror. Feed the winner that's inside of you." That is so inspiring. Where did you come up with that? I mean, it's very encouraging. But what did you come up with that? Because a lot of times people, they get caught up in what they see in the mirror because they visualize and like, I'm not seeing this, I'm not seeing that. But you're saying that you should feed the winner inside of you. You're giving them proclamation that they're winners and that they should encourage themselves because they're winners.
Exactly. A lot of times we go through many things in life, and it can affect our outlook and through trials and tribulations. Sometimes we wear our pain, but we are a winner inside, regardless of what's going on, because God did not change His mind on us because of what we're going through. But because of the enemy, it does do some wear and tear on the outside. So sometimes when we look in the mirror, we see sadness, we see tears, we see scars. And don't get caught up in that. That's a temporary look because you're still glowing inside and God still has work for you to do in spite of what you see in the mirror.
Amen.
And you come on, give us the date and the time you come on.
We come on every second and fourth Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Every second and fourth Sunday nights at 6 p.m.
Okay.
And we've been on now for, actually we'll be celebrating 9 years in about 2 weeks.
All right. Well, you took one of my things away.
Is it when you come in, is it 1 hour or 2 hours?
Yeah, it's just 1 hour inspiration from 6 to 7 p.m. Just 1 hour. There's usually there's two co-hosts with me, Tammy Levy and Royce Dixon. We do have other co-hosts. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but Tammy and Royce are usually always on with me when I come on.
Okay, and some of the topics, of course, is inspiring. As far as with women, do you do a lot of uplifting with women, or is just universal? Who needs it? Like you said, the bank account doesn't count. That's not something, or your gender. So whoever needed and say, Miss Bev, I need some encouraging today. What you have for me?
Yes, we no, we don't just go after the women. It's everybody. It is universal because everybody's going through. Everybody needs to be encouraged. When I came up with the show, I was going I was mostly targeting the business people because they are the ones that get left out. The ones with the fancy title, they always are the ones that get left out. And they are the ones that need it more than anybody else. Because we
Amen.
always look at the people's outer look and be like, oh, they need to be encouraged because we go on by a look. But it has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with that. Everybody needs to be encouraged and inspired no matter what you are going through in life. So we don't pick and choose. So we're universal.
And that is so true because a lot of times people think because the business people or someone is doing well off,
Hmm.
everything is great in their lives, but yet they're going through trials and tribulations too, and
Absolutely.
suffering. And just that one time where someone's saying, "I see you, I'm caring about you," is can be so
Absolutely.
uplifting because a lot of
Mhm.
times they feel like just because you think I'm doing good, that's the outer thing.
Yeah.
But to touch that inside soul is amazing.
Yeah, a lot of times, because of people, we put people on pedestals because of their title, their position, or what we think they may have. But everybody has dark moments every now and then, and they can't find the light strips. They looking to try to find the light, and they cannot. And we walk past them because they carry a certain title or a certain look. But I don't. That's not how I deal with it. I just however God leads me, it doesn't matter who you are or position or title, boy, girl, child, white, black, it does not matter because it's not always a lot that I have to say. It's simply sometimes just a smile. How are you doing? Today is a good day. Expect it to be a good day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. You are not exempt. God sees you. It's not always a lot that I'm saying because a lot of times people don't want to hear a lot of talking when they're going through, but sometimes it's just giving them time to just even deal with whatever they're going through at that time. They could just need a hug, they could just need a handshake, they could just need a high five. Sometimes they just know that, does anybody see me
Yeah.
in the midst of everything that I'm going through? Because it's the truth. When you see a celebrity or something, you just think they have it all together. They got money, they got an award show, or they got this and they got that. Oh no, they go through too.
Yeah, they do.
Mhm.
Or what they can get from you is they can get the Bev quote on the go. That will help them out as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, I released that a quote booklet. I think it was the end of 2023, right at the end. So it kind of came out 2023, 2024. Yeah, it is a booklet. It's called Best Quotes on the Go, and it's called that because a lot of times we are always busy, we're always on the go. So it's actually just a small booklet that you can put in your handbag or your back pocket or whatever, and it's bendable to go in your pocket, and it just has just different quotes in it just to kind of keep you motivated through on the go. Just keep you motivated on the go.
So is that
Hmm.
something you can get on Amazon or anything, or you
It
get?
is still on,
Okay,
yes,
because I'm looking.
it's still on
So it's
Amazon.
just
It,
Bev's.
it,
It's just
it is
Bev's.
my first book.
It's
It's
just
Bev's
Bev's
quotes,
quotes on the
BEV.
quote. Okay.
Yeah, Bev Quiz on the go. And it is my first booklet. I do have another one coming out. I just kind of was testing the water to see could I do it. And I have been writing quotes for I don't know, it's been a long time. And I have over about at least about 2,000 quotes. And so I just decided to start editing them and start putting, why not try a booklet? And I did. So it's more to come on that end. But yeah, I did release one and it is on
Yeah,
Amazon.
and I'm getting mines tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. I
That's
appreciate that.
what I'm doing. I'm getting mine tomorrow. They just took if
Yeah,
Amazon stays true to its word, which they usually
right,
do. Um,
right.
I wanted to just share something going back to what you said. You never know what a person going through, no matter what,
Right.
where they at in their life. Today at the post office, I walked into something, and of course, if God tell you to do something, I'm going to do it. And this young lady, it just seemed like she was about to break. And
Mm,
I'm like, okay, what is going on? She was just so fragile. And I asked her, I said, are you okay? And she said, no, I am not. And I said, okay, let's step to the side. We stepped to the side, and I know people that was in line was like, "Okay, you don't know her, and you telling her to step to the side." But when you're connected spiritually with someone, someone's open to receive what you have to offer, and you obey God, you gonna go do what you got to do. So I
Yes.
asked her. I said, "I have a moment. Do you need? You know, I did say, do you need a hug? Do you need to talk? What's going on?" And she told me a lot. And she told me I could share this. And I said, wow, you know, for you to open up and be so transparent, her son was murdered this past April. And today
Wow.
was the day in Wisconsin.
Mm.
His baby's mother killed him. And when
Mm.
she told me all of the story, how that went down, how she just got off the phone with him, he said, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna be in Chicago this weekend," you know, because their family was real close. And I'm listening, the mail lady that worked there, the clerk, she looked like, okay, this girl's pouring her heart out. And at that time, I said, you know what, let's pray. And it's a domino effect with stuff. When somebody else see it, it's like, okay, they're being serious. So people, after we got through praying and stuff, and I said, we're not doing this for show. She, something with her spirit hopped onto my spirit just to
Yeah.
see that. Because when you
Yes.
said people want to see, do you see me, Beverly? That's what I was looking at with her. And it wasn't for her to get attention from anybody. She really, that's a heavy low. A mother, son was murder. And this is what Corey Brooks paid for the funeral, right? So I when she was telling me this, and I'm like, did she show me the video? It was so many people. It was in that little post office that was talking to her and saying, I know this happened 6 or 7 months ago, but what do you need us to do to keep his legacy alive? Because he was a good one, 31 years old,
Wow.
excellent guy. And she just said, what that young lady did, I just need prayer because every day is hard for me to want as a mother, you know, not saying the father don't got nothing, but as a mother to know my child is no longer here and is he going to be forgotten? And
Yeah.
I told her, I said,
Mm.
what do you need for us to do? And she said, just
Right.
keep me lifted in prayer. So I'm
Mhm.
loving what you're saying with your quotes and everything and just inspiring people because right now you don't know what people going through. You know, like I said, you
Um,
don't know half of what people going through right now.
a lot of times people don't talk about what they're going through because they feel like don't nobody want to hear it. Oh, it happened a long time
And
ago, and
that's what she said.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
so
she said that because she
they keep
said,
it to themselves.
well, yeah, she was telling me one of her friends told her it's over now, and she said it's not over.
Wow.
You can't do that.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow.
And
But thank you for being
yeah.
inspiring to other people.
And I think, I mean, I think
Thank
I was looking through
you.
your website, and I know you were talking about family as well, and how, preparing ourselves for understanding that, situations will happen sometimes, but you're still a winner, and you have to have that winning, attitude. So I love that encouragement. Speaking of encouragement, 36 years of marriage, huh?
Yeah. Yes.
36 years. You got us beat
Yeah.
by 6 years. I mean, tell some people about how you win in marriage.
Wow. Communication. I have found out over the years that it sounds simple, but it's the truth because at one time we were not winning, and it was just really a lack of not being honest in our communication of talking. And, I am the youngest of 10, so I was kind of spoiled there and kind of used to having my way. And had to find out that in marriage it wasn't like that. But learning how to just talk and support each other's do. You don't have to like what they do, but you should support what they do. And like I have engagements and things. My husband takes time to come, and he has things I don't really like or this and that, but I just take our time to go. I just feel like they may not say anything, but they really do want their spouse to support them sometimes in what they're doing and where they're going. They don't always want to go alone. So I've learned that in communication is a big key to like, what's going on with you? Like, can I help? Saying thank you and I appreciate. You just don't stop saying thank you because you've been married to someone for a long time. You still say it, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for supporting me. I also do a lot of MC and hosting. So my husband sometimes just take our time to come. That's very important to me. So I think we have to remember to continue to support, continue to communicate, and don't be offended when by about a certain situation.
So I'm gonna ask this question because I don't know if I'm right or not, but is it? Are you an evangelist, a preacher, or did we lose her?
I am an evangelist, and
Okay.
actually, I go to church in Chicago.
You go to
I go to
church in
church in
Chicago?
Chicago.
Oh, look at that.
I live in Rockford. Yes,
Okay.
yes. I live in Rockford, but I go to church in Chicago. My pastor is Pastor DeAndre Patterson on the West Side, Destiny Worship Center. Um, and I've been evangelist there for now. I think it's like about 16 years.
Hmm. I'm trying to think. I'm
Uh-uh.
trying to think. I thought I knew a young lady by the name of Cheryl, but I can't think of Cheryl's last name that goes there. It escapes
And
me.
Destiny Worship Center, DeAndre Patterson. He's like a shorter guy.
Yeah, she
Um,
was telling
he's
me
a,
a long
actually
time ago. She told me she goes to the
he's a
church there.
radio personality as well. 90.
Yeah, I mean, you're breaking up a little bit. You said he's a radio personality and who?
1390.
Oh, 1390. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, we used to do radio in Chicago here too, but they expensive. They
Right,
want a
yeah.
they want a mortgage payment. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Shoot it. You better have a bed there for me too. If you're gonna get
Mhm.
that much money, I mean, what was what WYC
102.3
102.3 FM
WYCALC.
WYCA. But shoot, they wanted
Mm-hmm.
a mortgage. I'm like, you better have a bed,
Yeah.
a place we can cook some food or something. I mean, they were
Mm-hmm.
a little bit crazy. Bev, tell people a little bit more about your show and the things that you provide for them and reasons why they should listen to Win on Sundays.
Okay, Win comes on every second and fourth Sunday nights for just 1 hour power at 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m. We have different topics all the time. We just did a show on this past Sunday. It was called The Power of Choices. It was actually a very good show. We talked about the different choices that we make, how they can um, cause bad or good things in life, but we all have to go through it. So we talk about different topics. We don't have a one stream of topics. We deal from women topics, men's topics, universal topics, whatever's weighing heavy on the people of God. We try to bring it to the table and talk about it. We have different guests that come on and talk. It's an open panel usually. I don't really have a problem with different people coming on talking. I welcome all guests. Um, it's a fun show. We have a lot of fun on the show. I encourage if you're not busy to just tap in sometime. We'd be happy to have anybody on. And also you can be a guest on the show. Just hit me up. I'm very open about that. But yeah, it's very inspiring and uplifting. We just do our best to be real. My co-hosts are very real on the show. They share a lot of things that they have been through personally with divorces and separations and got back married again. They share their story. So they've helped. Everybody's helped a lot of people that take our time to listen in. I just believe there's a win in your spirit, no matter what's going on or whatever you've been through. I think the devil would try to make it look like you'll never win or you'll never be forgiven. But God threw our sins in the sea of forgiveness a long time ago. And we have to focus on that and how valuable we are. If you focus on how valuable you are, you will win. Your
Amen.
circumstances do not take you out. The enemy will try to take you out, but God has a win in your spirit. And you have to believe that. And that's what we try to push every second and fourth Sunday nights.
Amen to that.
I like that. That's a nice
Yeah,
push.
that is a nice push. I'm gonna change subject a little because I'm looking through the web page and stuff like. Do you cook too? I'm looking at a peach cobbler on here.
Oh,
I'm like, okay. Looks kind of
No,
nice
I
there.
don't. I'm not a cook like that, but
Okay.
I do make peach cobblers. You know, I just be I be teasing the other cooks out there that think they the greatest. I'll be like, boom, let me show y'all
Yeah.
what I can do.
Well,
Yeah.
that look kind of nice there. It looks nice and crispy, and yeah.
Ah,
I'm not me. You know, Brenda's a bigger peach cobbler person. I'll eat if it's good, and that looks good there.
well,
It
okay.
So
does.
I'm gonna tell you something. You may not cook a lot of times, but I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
You look like you win with that one. That came out pretty nice. Hey, I want to
Yeah.
thank you for all the things that you're doing. Going on 9 years on Soar Radio. Awesome the sharing with people, and we appreciate you being on the show with us. Tell people one more time how they can get a chance to see the show before we leave.
Yes, we come on every second and fourth Sunday nights live on Soul Radio from 6 p.m. to 7. It's just 1 hour. You can listen in on different, I think it's on different outlets, soulradio.com. And if you're on my page, we're also on Facebook Live as well. We talk about different topics all the time. We have fun. We have a good time. It's a very lively show. This is at night, so we kind of keep it live and keep it going. And it's on Sunday nights. Sunday nights, every second and fourth Sunday nights live on Soar Radio.
And Ms. Bev and the team can help you with individual issues, and with 36 years of marriage, she can help you with that too. So you definitely win on both sides with listening to this show. So make sure you check out the show. Ms. Bev, we appreciate you coming on the show, and
Thank
we look
you.
forward to seeing you in Chicago
Right,
when we
yeah.
celebrate the SOAR Awards. And
I'm
this is
so excited that it's in Chicago for you guys. I think that's really cool that you don't have to travel this time. We have to travel. Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. What we
We just
20
we
minutes?
20 minutes away. I mean, we still got to get there early for that parking lot though, but
Oh yeah.
we gonna get there. But we look forward to seeing you there. I mean, something may come up. We have to come to Rockford for something, but thank you
Right.
very much for being obedient to the will of the Lord and doing what you do. Well, we thank you in Jesus' name. Okay, hon.
Yes, thank you for having me. God
Amen.
All
bless
right,
you.
take care. Good to have you. Hey, that was a great little conversation we had there. You can win. I'm telling you. You know,
WIN.
to have that inspirational thought process of helping people, evangelist Beverly Washington, just evangelizing and sharing, about stories and helping people with their individual lives and marriage. 36 years of marriage. I thought 30 years was something. You always get excited when you see somebody that's just doing, that's married for even longer, because of wow, it gives you a plateau of where you can go. And so it's just amazing when you get a chance to see that. Hey, we're gonna let some music play right now. Kenny's Choice. We're doing Kenny's Choice, and then I'm gonna have to run downstairs real quick to figure out who's ringing my doorbell at this office location we have. So I'm gonna let Brenda bring up a topic and talk about it, and we'll be right back. So listen up to Kenny's Choice, and we'll be right back.
Saying that again, it was really good to have Miss Washington on the show because people need to be inspired. This world has gone mad right now, and if you got someone that's a cheerleader rooting you on, piggybacking on everything that we discuss in this discussion, in this segment rather, it's great to hear that if you think you're by yourself and you lonely, Bev is there, the McCains are there, other people are there, and it could be like I said with the incident today. Didn't know a person, but you could see someone's hurting. If you have a soul out there, people, and you care for someone, just ask them, how are you doing? Because you don't have to get all in their business. If they want to share it, just, take the minutes out, the time out, and just listen to them. Because sometimes we bottle up stuff as individuals and we trying to make it, well, I don't want people to know I'm going through or this, and that. That could be the breaking point for someone. It's like, does anyone see me out here? Does anyone see what I'm going through? God, can you see me down here? Are you listening? Yes, God will send someone, put them right in your path where you could talk to them, pray with them, listen to them, tune in on a Sunday, second and fourth Sunday at 6 o'clock and hear them. Or every Tuesday, God have his angels on post for so many people. And as I said, this is the time that you take advantage of the good stuff. And who was the senator that said good trouble? He had just passed last year or the year before last and marched with Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
I
I know who
forgot
you're
his
talking about.
name,
I
but
can't
he always said good trouble. As I'm saying, get in some good trouble with somebody because we're going to need that because some bad trouble is around the corner and we know it's coming no matter which way. It's a win-win for this person. I hate to put her good title to Trump, but whether he in
John
office
Lewis.
or not, he going to make himself known.
So that was John Lewis.
John Lewis.
Yeah, get yourself some good trouble. That's what they used to do back in the days of Martin Luther King. We got in some good trouble. That's what protesting was all about. Get into some good trouble because you're looking for some good to come out of it. And yeah, we did have that was a good time talking with Miss Bev Evangelist, Bev Washington, and the Win Show. And she said she has a lot of guests on there, and they share about so many great things. It's amazing. One of the reasons why we decided to get people onto the show was so we could connect with each other, because you got other shows that are doing God's will, and you want to connect it with them and have everybody know who they are. And it was just amazing to have these people on the show. Everyone has a different personality. They're doing different things, but yet the same results, uplifting the name of the Lord. And it is so amazing to see that. We want to continue to that. Our show, it's different. We fight against, these topics and stuff like that, like the elections and, in abortion or women's rights or, the economy. Because these are all the things that, Jesus was coming to the world for humanity that we all receive. And you have situations where people are just looking at their human desires instead of looking at the will of the Lord. And we've got to keep on pushing that good fight that John Lewis says in different ways. And all these shows, speak to the core of fighting for what God believed in, was that we all receive Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior and live our life according to his will. And so if you have never received Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, all you have to do right now is says, Jesus, I confess my sins and I want to live my life according to your will. It's that simple, in Jesus' name. And then that means you've accepted Jesus as your Lord, and you can live your life now knowing that God has accepted you as his child. You have a place in the kingdom. And though life may not automatically change and you're still going to go through some trials and tribulations, now you can say, I cast them or cares upon the Lord and leave them there and have faith and trust in the Lord. Because he lean not to thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge God, and he will direct your path. You have that pathway now to Christ, to God, through Jesus Christ our Lord. And so amen to those who've accepted him. Again, just say, forgive me for my sins. You can say anything. I accept you. Forgive me for my sins. Forgive me for my sins. I accept you. But it's just, Lord, forgive me of the sins. I accept you as my Lord and Savior, and I want to live my life according to your will.
Amen.
And if you do that, you are a part of the family. You're with me, my beautiful wife, Brenda McCain, and the GOAT himself, Kenny Crawford. You are a part of the family of Let's Soar Radio and the God who soars above all. So let's go. What we got next that we're going to be talking about, baby girl? I think we got
get married.
Yeah, and I got a clip that Kenny's going to be playing for us on there. So Kenny's going to be setting it up. So what are we talking about?
Closing the gap.
Closing the gap. The gap. I'm not talking about the pans that they used to have out there, the Gap pans. We're talking
With
about
a Gap band.
Oh, the Gap band, yeah. You dropped the bomb on me. We're talking about the gap in the relationship, and I'm not going to take the credit for this because sometimes I go on Instagram and I'll see some information out there, and the individual will share something that I thought was profound. And I'm like, wow, this is very interesting. I love hearing that. And you use that information that can help someone in a marriage relationship. And so this young man was talking, and this, I guess, this girl. Sometimes on Instagram you can have a video and they let you do a side clip of you listening and like, yeah, you listen to it, and you have something like that. And so that video, when it comes up, you'll be able to see this young man talking about a situation in his marriage about intimacy and how closing the gap really helped their relationship a lot, babe. And so it's very important. I want you all to listen to this, and as we get through listening to it, then we'll talk about it afterwards. Oh, so we're back on SOAR. I'm doing all that talking. So already, hey, 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 hey. This is what happens when you walk away from things. Hey, everybody from SOAR Radio. We're back. Let's Stay Together talk show. Got a chance to hear Evangelist Bev Washington from the Win Show come on and share some great tidbits of encouragement for us and our individual lives and in our marriage. 36 years of marriage. She's gone on 9 years of SOAR Radio, and she has on Amazon. It's called the Bev's Quote on the Go. We bought the book. Brenda reads all the books around here. I'm not the greatest reader. In the Bible, everything else is like, okay. So Brenda's like our speed reader over here. She can read 300 pages if she wanted to in a day. It'll probably take me 300 years to do that. But we got a thing we're going to talk about today on Christian Real, and it's called Closing the Gap. And for those of you all who were listening,
Why Did I Get Married?
On Why Did I Get Married? What did I say?
Christian Real.
Christian Real, thank you. Why Did I Get Married? Closing the Gap. And for those of you all who were listening to us on Facebook and SOAR Radio, Facebook and YouTube, you've heard this already, but we're going to listen to this. And this man was talking about something that was very interesting, and I'm going to let him share this information, and then we're going to talk about it as well.
Like my wife said to me one day, yo, we need to have a conversation. You're not intimate enough. I don't feel intimacy. I'm gonna be real. I was like, I don't even know what that means. She said, you don't spend intimate time with me. So I said, I didn't know that you felt like I wasn't intimate. If we never talked about it during this time, when would you have told me? And she said, I don't know when it would have came up. Now watch, when we don't communicate, it creates a gap. From the time Tyshawn is supposed to say something to the time Tyshawn actually says something, everything in between here is what? A gap. And everything happens in the gap. People get divorced in the gap. Other chicks and other dudes into the equation in the gap.
Facts.
People get information misconstrued in the gap. Every relationship, every couple, your number one priority is to close your gaps.
And I love that. He says the number one priority is to close your gaps. And I thought that was so profound for that. And you want to give credit where credit is due. I'm not going to come on the show and say, Reverend McCain, wow, that was so great what Reverend McCain came up with. No, Reverend McCain found this from someone else. And it's always good to give people their props when they do come up with something that's so profound and so helpful. Because our only goal is to be able to help people in their marriage. And I love how he said that, Brenda, like, first it was that he wasn't being intimate. And that the communication was, she never really shared that with him. And that was so powerful because a lot of times you get afraid to share something with someone because how they may respond or act. And so he was basically saying that the time that she was supposed to share it and the time that she shared it, there was a gap. And relationships can fail within the gap. And I thought, wow, that's so true.
That was, how can I say this? It was a profound, brief message that made you just think like, if in a marriage, if you don't say exactly what you mean or mean what you say, that gap could widen. And in the case of that clip, he didn't know what intimacy was. So it's like, how am I not doing something that I didn't think I was acquired to do? And I didn't grow up learning about this, as most black men do say they didn't have someone helping them become the best husband or the best father. You kind of doing this daily, day by day learning, and then with a woman as well as being the best wife and stuff. But it is going back to what we was talking about earlier with Bev, communication. I didn't say she missed her window because it came at the time that it needed to come in that marriage for her to let them know exactly how she felt, what was lacking. And like with me and you and stuff, we always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that could be detrimental in a marriage. And like every marriage have their own love language. And maybe hers was touch, feel, intimacy. We don't have to do the making love all the time. I just need you here. I want to cuddle with you. I want to talk to you. I don't need you to fix nothing as a woman. I don't need you to fix nothing. I just want you to listen to me.
Yeah.
And just to see that clip, to hear a man say that, it's like, wow, within that gap, if you're not listening to her, someone else probably is.
Yeah, and I don't think, for me, I don't think he didn't understand what intimacy was. He just didn't know that he wasn't having the intimacy that she was looking for. The miscommunication was, I thought what we were doing was intimacy. And a lot of times with men in relationships, they think that sex is intimacy. And so maybe they were having a vibrant sexual relationship, but she didn't feel the intimacy without the sex relationship. So I didn't understand what she was talking about. I don't understand what that was. I mean, he seemed like an intelligent man to understand what intimacy mean, but because it was never communicated to him that what he was providing wasn't the intimacy she was looking for, a gap came in between what I think I'm doing and what you're receiving based on what I've done. And so what I think I'm doing is I think I'm doing right, but you haven't never told me before that this is not what you perceive as intimacy, or this is not what you perceive as love. I thought love was taking care of you, providing this, providing that. You look at love in a different way. So because you never came to me before and told me what I was doing was wrong, there was a gap in between. And let me just say this. A gap doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be at an odds or you're going to be against each other. It just means there's a space there for confusion. And basically that you've seen people live a long time with somebody and they stay married for years, but there was such of a gap and confusion and lack of communication that marriage never was where it was going to be, because one person never said something about how they feel in fear of maybe reciprocation or an argument or something. And like he said, in between that gap, that's where that isolation can cause you to say, I don't think I can make in this relationship anymore. But you've never been open and honest to say, hey, this isn't it. We need to talk about this. And we are so caught up in our own feelings sometimes. We don't want to just step back and say, hey, I see you. I hear you. Tell me what it is. Let me work on it. And like he said, divorces come within the gap. Other people come into the gaps. One man finds another woman that seems like she's listening more. One woman finds a man that she feels that will give her the intimacy she's looking for, or the love she's looking for. And because we never talk, or we never sit down and say, hey, let's reevaluate. We need, something's happening that's causing that gap to widen, and we need to discuss it.
I don't know if this was in a book I read, a movie I saw, or just heard it before, that the worst thing, it was another man on the mic, he said the worst thing that could happen in a marriage, if someone has his wife's heart, not her body, that she stepped out and probably fornicated, had adultery, a relationship, had an affair with him. Not that. He said, yes, a man, that bothers me. Something with a woman. If a man knows a woman, you get her heart and soul, you got her. Now, because most the women are totally opposite with the men. Men think with the visually first see a woman they like and then want to make love to them like that. A woman, okay, that's fine, but can I talk to you? That's what gets us, motivate us to want to be that perfect something in your life. But this guy said that, and the other guy challenged him. He said, "Man, you mean to tell me somebody could do to your wife and that won't bother you? But if you know she's in love with the fact that they listen to her, they're talking to her, they show intimacy that way." He said, "Yeah, that will bother me. I don't want my wife stepping out. But to know she had a mental affair is worse than the physical affair." And I was like, you know what? That put a whole different level on some stuff. Because you could separate. Women used to equate, and some of them still do, they equate sex with love. But when you separate the love making, or when you have an affair, the physical attributions versus the person listened to me, we was just talking, and you see, I don't get that from her, but she's giving it to someone else. And I thought that was just admirable to me to see him say that.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it is that both of them are equally effective, will affect you. But when a woman has found an intimacy with another man, then that means now her heart is turning toward that other individual and away from the person that she's with. Whereas a man is like, it was just sex. It wasn't really that important. And I mean, but it can happen too, where a man is, trying to be intimate and the woman's not there. And then another woman will provide him the intimacy of the conversation, or, make him feel like he's valued and wanted. And that other woman, takes it for granted and doesn't do anything. And that other woman comes in, there was an old song, making it easy for the cleanup woman. So you had to be careful of that as well. But going back to the gaps, it's those situations where you isolate and not communicate when you have something. Love can conquer all, but communication is key. You have to be able, because you're going to go through some rough times. And I just love what he said, there, that gap in between. And let's be honest, making marriage work, why did I get married, whatever we want to call this, we all have experienced a period in our relationship in a gap. If you've been married as long as we've been married, as long as the Washington, Beverly, and her husband's been married, you're going to have a situation where there's going to be a gap. Some people like say, yeah, you got to make it past the 7-year inch. Some people don't even make it that long because, there's going to be gaps. And in some cases, you might have gaps, situations where it's gaps. It's the ability to love and communicate. I remember one time when me and Brenda was going through something, and she said something that really helped within the gap. She said, Rick, I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. So let's stop, discussing anything like that. And because if anybody knows, I've been married before, and that was probably one of the worst 2 years of my life. I was concerned about that. And so she communicated to me, though we were going through some problems, communicated to me that I'm not seeking to go anywhere else. I know you're not. So let's remove that issue from the gap that we have, and let's close that gap and start focusing on the things that we can work on together to make our marriage stronger. And that was pivotal for me at that time, because it let me know that I had somebody that was going to stand with me even if I caused a gap in our relationship. Yeah. And so everybody's going to have that situation, but when you don't communicate or you don't let that person know, and stop worried about, I'm not gonna look bad in front of him. He ain't gonna make me look weird. He should do that first. She need to want to be. No, Be vulnerable. If you can't be, I know I saw this one thing where the girl was asking a man, he was being too soft, and the guy said, if a man can't be vulnerable with his woman, who can he be vulnerable with?
Yeah.
That should be the time that he could let down his guard. He's going through so much. He should be able to let down his guard in front of his woman and be able to be vulnerable and have her support and hold him up. And sometimes that he needs, that love. And so we have to stop trying to figure out, you ain't gonna hurt me. You're not gonna. I mean, it's okay to be hurt sometimes. Sometimes hurt, you're gonna go through the hurt so you can heal. And in that gap, nobody's gonna be. If it's a gap, nobody's gonna feel good in the gap. You're gonna have some hurt feelings and some situations, but you gotta, go in there and say, hey, this marriage is more important than my feelings right now. We can work on that. I mean, you did say something that I didn't like. You did, do something I didn't like. You did step out. You did do that. But, let's try to work on this. And that's what you have to do because, like he said, man, in the gap is where everything happens that Satan will do to kill, steal, and destroy your marriage and your relationship.
And won't think twice about it. Be gone to the next one. Because that gap is exactly what it's a gap that you need to wedge back together. As they say, bridge the gap of your marriage. Take time out to listen to your partner. Take time out to understand what they're saying. Whether you're on the move and stuff, because like I say, like earlier, Rick has said he want to discuss something. In my mind, I told him I have this place to go to do this, to do that. But it's like, wait a minute. If this person is coming to you, then you need to pay attention. It's either something's bothering them to the max or, hey, I just want to share this with you. And like Beverly was saying, it's nice to still say, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, I'm here for you. Yeah, we might not like everything that each one of us do. We just all was honest today. We might not like it, but that's your partner in life. Support one another. Stop as couples. We need to stop competing with one another. Like you said, I don't want him seeing me this way because we was raised of a girl. Once they see that you're crying, you always gonna be crying. Or don't be vulnerable and drop your guards down around a woman because she'll just walk all over you. Stop doing that. Now, if this is the person you married to, and you're supposed to be vulnerable with them both ways, be vulnerable. Don't let nobody ever tell you, I don't need you to cry. I mean, you don't want to cry, baby, every day. I don't need you to cry. I want you to be strong. I get that. But sometimes you just want to, like you said, let your hair down. A man want to feel as though he's fighting a good man, fighting against the world outside of his household. When he come home, he just want peace. A woman want to still feel as though no matter what goes on out there, my husband still finds me desirable, still respects me, got me, we're each other biggest cheerleaders. But within that gap, if that doesn't happen and you don't feel that way, Satan, he comes in quick, real quick, to have somebody fulfill that or just sift you out in your own marriage. You don't even have to be somebody else. He'll just sift you out. Like, I'm done. We not good for each other. If that's the case, Rick and I would have threw in the towel the first 2 years of marriage. Because it's like, it's so easy to say, I can't do this. I don't want to do that. That's what most couples do. I don't want to do this. We always say marriage take work.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
He said something else, and I want to kind of dissect just a little bit. When she said, you're not providing me intimacy. And then he came back and he said, well, you never said anything about it. I want to caution taking that as a way to fight back or be defensive. Because that happens sometimes in our marriage because we want to protect ourselves. And this is when the time you have to remember that God is in the marriage too. And that he's like the referee or he's like the judge and he's looking and he's allowing that individual to speak And at that time, you're not the defense attorney. You're just, you're the person that loves and cares for that person. So you need to receive what they say. And so when she said, "You're not intimate with me," and he said, "Well, you've never said anything to me about it," we can construe that or act like, well, maybe he wasn't listening, or you need to. It's just he's saying, "I didn't know that I wasn't doing what you wanted." That's what he's trying to say in this scenario. Not be defensive or say, "Hey, well, you ain't said nothing to me about it this long, then, how would I know?" You can get defensive, and that happens sometimes in a marriage because you're trying to protect yourself. You don't want to look bad. We live in a society now that, you don't know me. We want to be so defensive instead of saying, "Hey, this is my spouse. This is the person I love. This is the person I committed myself to. Let me hear them out." And so you should listen to that. And then he was saying, "I did not know." And in between the time that she didn't say anything and said something, there was a gap. Now, he's not blaming her there either. What he's saying is that between that time, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, which could have been maybe listening to see that he wasn't doing it. And she wasn't letting me know that it wasn't being done. So they both, and it's at an era and a situation of something they should provide each other, intimacy and love. And he's like, "Hey, I thought I was doing it, but I wasn't paying attention." So you got to look at it that way too, men. That what he's saying also is that I know what intimacy is. I can't think of any men over 30 that don't know what intimacy is. You can see it enough on television. What you can see in intimacy, and it's like we're not cavemen and dumb. We know what intimacy is, but there are certain times where you will miss. You may not realize that you're not doing what you want. I might, example, go out and buy something for Brenda, and she'll say, "I like that, but I don't like that color." But it's like, but I wasn't paying any attention. She's mentioned things before. I'm finna go to this thing and I'm looking for this green outfit and I bring in some yellow shoes. I like these, Rick, but they don't go with what I'm looking for. And it's not that I wasn't trying, it's that I wasn't listening. I wasn't taking the time to intimately understand her or talk with her. And so both of them are in a point where they need to learn something. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to get it to the point where he's blaming her or she didn't do anything right. All he's talking about is that in between that time where that communication doesn't exist, the gap can cause issues. Mm-hmm. And that we should talk to each other when things arise immediately so it doesn't fester and grow.
Right, and you have to be receptive to it, not already having your mind made up. I don't want to hear nothing he or she is saying. You got to be receptive to what they are saying. And if it does come to a time restraint, take time out and say, "Hey, babe, we could talk about this. Give me a time we could get together and talk about this because I didn't know what I wasn't doing." Like he was saying, I didn't know that I wasn't providing intimacy. Maybe that's the way, and that makes sense, though, now when I'm thinking about it. The way he was doing intimacy probably was the way he was taught or learned intimacy or not learn intimacy. He probably was doing the best that he can do or could do. And whereas with her not saying anything is sort of like, well, yeah, you didn't say I wasn't being intimate, so how would I know what I'm not providing for you? So it's a lesson learned, like you said, on both ends, that communication is key all the way around in any relationship. If you're not doing something that you want your significant other to do for you, they're not mind readers. You have to let them know.
Yeah, and terminology sometimes could be, off because sometimes someone can ask you, like you go to a shoe store and they say, what size is your foot? And you say, you know, it's 12 feet long, you know. And you're like, well, you said foot, but now it's feet. You know, it's a different way of explaining the same thing, and sometimes we can get things wrong and not even know that we're not talking in the same language. But also, last thing I'm going to say, then we're going to go to Kenny's Choice because we're going to play his music, and then we got a couple things we want to end up the show with. But once you find out that there's a gap, don't ignore it. Because you don't want to be in a situation where somebody is repeatedly saying the same thing over and over again. Because what happens is the gap grows longer and deeper and wider, and the person gets tired of bringing up the situation, and they will stop because they've said it to you, you know, over and over again. We've talked about this. We've talked. You know, you got to be able to accept it. It's like almost Alcohol Anonymous. You heard first you have to admit you're an alcoholic. You got to first admit that there's an issue, and that issue might solely be me, but we are going to work it together. That issue might solely be him, it might solely be you, but we're going to work it together. And he has to have that same thought process that the problem is solely her, and she has to have that same process that it's solely him. But you can't sit there, well, you're the one, or say, I've tried. You've got to be able to accept it and say, if I love him, if I love her as much as I say I do, and some of y'all may not, you know, that's another conversation. But if you love that person the way you say you love them, then trying should not be something that you try. It should be something that you succeed in. So we're gonna get out of here. We got with that conversation. I don't remember who the guy was on that video who said that on Instagram, but I give him all the credit for bringing that up in the conversation. And we're gonna have Kenny's Choice, and then we're gonna come back with Relationship Letter. We got some plays we're gonna be talking about, Club 50, Ife Designs, and we got a lot of things still left up. So listen up to Kenny's Choice, a couple of commercials, and we'll be right back. All right, baby, you got any more stories, or do I have the next one?
I got this one that happened in Alabama about the black man found hanged after lawsuit against the police. Again, black man found hanged after lawsuit against police. Now, his name is Denoris Richardson. Death was ruled as a suicide. His family totally disagrees with that because this police station had problems. And this guy was systematically being targeted in his 39 years of life. They ruled him, had some cases on him before, but they had him put down as a white man, which is just uncanny that you could construe a black man as a white man and the police as a rap. And that never really happened. So, but the story goes that unfortunately, the last time he was arrested, and I think it's not just normal things of being arrested, but the last time he was arrested, the incident happened that they were saying force was done. And the thing that gets me with this is like, I'm still stuck on you arresting this black man, but his paperwork says that, with his name and everything, says that he's a white man, and that, he had mental issues, and he killed himself, babe. That doesn't make sense. And I'm glad his wife, Leanne, is revealing the truth and want people to see the excessive force that this Alabama police station force on black men.
You know, I must say this, and I'm tired of these stories about these incidents where whites are putting force on black people and coming up with excuses, and then if a black person does something to black, and then they say, this is what y'all do this to each other, but yet, you know, trying to justify some of the things that people in authority that happen to be white are doing to blacks and minorities. And I'm going to tie this back into the election because we talked about earlier about how Trump is claiming that he's done so much for black Americans, but just a couple of years ago, he was telling his attorney general and the military to shoot black people who were protesting with Black Lives Matter around the same time of the George Floyd incident, where a white police officer put his knee on his neck and suffocated the man, and he died right there crying for his mother. And these things need to stop. We know that. But we need to come together politically, financially, to make these things stop. Not just, marching and then that's it. And we can't be bought out by political people because we have a agenda which supersedes the agenda. With this man here. All right, everybody, we had to come back on Let's Stay Together talk show. Brendan was talking about a subject here. I want to just kind of throw it up. We were talking about a black man that got hung. Where was this at again?
In Alabama.
In Alabama, and they thought he was a white man and he just committed suicide, but the parents didn't believe so. And we was talking about all these stories where, white people in authority are coming up with these excuses for killing black people. We need to come together and unify and take the 17% or 16% of African Americans that are in the United States and unite together under an understanding that we had in the days of Martin Luther King, even though that part was, they had some kind of friction in there, or the time of the Black Panthers, or there was friction there too. People wanted to be leaders, but we got to unify to a point where that friction is gone and we have one agenda. People are going to try to divide us, and this is going a little bit away from the story, but I'm tired of hearing these stories where the majority is finding reasons for why they do something that they know humanistically shouldn't be done. And this goes back to saying that we're not following the word of God. If we're following the word of God, what color we are doesn't matter. And we have to get this world back on track, which means we can't have a Trump in the White House. We got to get this world back on track when we're starting to see the agenda of God and not the agenda of man. Because agenda of man can be divided. The agenda of God can never be divided. If you follow the word of the Lord, you always will be united with God and the power of God. And all this other stuff is like, it's trivial, it's ridiculous, but it's just showing you how we can be easily divided as human beings. A color. I mean, do we ever think about that? It's a color that has divided us.
Right, a color.
Yeah, a color in the crayon box,
Yeah.
and we're divided. Amazing.
Or you take that one white color. I don't know how many crayons are in a box now, 14, 15. You divided that one white dominant color, and all the other colors are separated.
Yeah, all the other colors are trying to be in the melting pot.
But the main one is that brown crayon,
Yeah.
or that beige one if they have one.
And again, I'll say this, and we're going to go on because we got a couple of things we want to talk about. If this population stays the way it is, and this is to my black brothers and sisters, there was at one time in the 60s they called it the baby boom, and everybody was having babies, and that's when the white population kind of skyrocketed back again. Of course, there was a time that the United States was like almost like 92%, whites because they ran the Indians out. But it's slipped, and that baby boom kind of helped it. We need to have a population increase and not a population decrease. We talked about this last year, that the census is saying that the next 40 years, the black population will only increase about 1%. In the next 40 years, they're projecting that the way that the African American population is now, which is steadily going down, by the way.
Is that because we're killing each other and that people
What-
are in interracial relationships?
No, it could be, it could be, it could be all of those, but the majority of it is that we are killing and being killed
Yeah. Well,
far
when
more than we are increasing our population.
I do say, let me take that back, because even though you're in an interracial relationship, you consider black. So you're right, the killing, that's the number one thing.
Yeah, they. You never know, but you're definitely not considered white. Let's just put it that way. But we have to do something about that. If we want, we have to unify with each other, and then make sure that, you respect your brother. What's wrong with, the days we used to nod each other and say, "What's up?" Can we go? Why I don't need to have what you have. I don't need to steal what you have. Show me how you got it. Work together. Hey, man, you got that? How you do that? Can you teach me how to do that?
And that was so beautiful back then. Just think about Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
How, wow, everybody was booming, doing something,
Right.
and just helping
And there was
each
so
other
much
out.
pride. And we look back in the 40s, and little kids was in suits and looking nice. And I know this is how white America wanted us to be, because we were all a part of that melting pot of what the Protestants and the society thought that every other origin or race that came here had to do this. You had to be this way. The Chinese came in. They taught them how to be American women, how to iron clothes and do this. And Japanese, they've all done that with everybody that's come here. But there's some points where we had to say, hey, there's something about us that if we come together, there's nothing we can't do. I mean, the black race has shown that too many times, in sports, in politics, science, you name it, whatever you ever want to look into. African Americans have played a pivotal part in events in all kind of agricultural and industries. And we have to get back to that point again, where we're being great fathers, we're being great mothers, we're being great inventors. We believe in it, we're trusting each other. And that can happen as a start by supporting your sister for president.
That would be a great start.
That'd be a great start. Hey, what you got for us on Club 50? Whatever you. This is your part of the show.
Okay,
so.
let's play. Got this one excellent 4-star play at Goodman Theater called Primary Trust. It is the winner of the Pulitzer Prize for Drama. It is going to be here from October the 5th through November 3rd. We seen this play last night, again at Goodman Theater. And when I tell you, pleasantly surprised, emotionally surprised, did not know I was going to be sitting there crying surprised. It was an excellent play. Excellent. So what you think about it, babe?
Yeah, so the concept of the play is about a young man who is kind of having some special need issues. I think I put down there that he was, and I want to just grab one of the words because I want to be politically correct here, because it was telling me that what I was using was not politically correct. So I want to make sure that I do that. And it was saying that he, let me see. I thought the play was good. And I'm going to look up the information in a second and find that. I really enjoyed the play. It was a pleasant surprise. They called it intellectually disabled. That's the new thing. You don't want to say challenge or anything like that. They're saying that's offensive. So the new thing that I'm saying is called is intellectually intellectually disabled, 37-year-old man. Basically had some issues with being able to deal with people because of the loss of his mother. And he had an imaginary friend, and that imaginary friend was able to help him survive through life. But yet, the one white man that was kind of like a mentor to him was selling the store, and now he had to re-find another job, and he needed the comfort of that imaginary friend to help him through. And other people along the way came and gave him support. But it was a very touching story. I think the guy's name is Namir Smallwood. Excellent job. I mean, we've seen him in other things. He's done a great job. But this here, I mean, his demeanor really captured that individual that was intellectually disabled, and his mannerisms. I mean, it did bring a tear to your eye. I mean, I have to even catch myself like, okay, I can't do this. But he did such an excellent job of showing that person's world, and how, in that small world that, some of us just insignificant and don't even think about it, it plays such a big part of just being able to reach out and just care about somebody.
Yeah.
So Primary Trust at Goodman Theater, we gave it 4 stars.
Excellent. If you're in the Chicagoland area, that is the one you need to see. We had some other ones we mentioned,
Yeah.
but this is
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Where was that? At Nederlander,
Yeah,
right?
that's a blast.
And that's here until February.
Yep.
But this last play, Primary Trust, I don't know. It's just something. It touched me so much because, I have a heart for disabled people. When I just see some, I just
Yes, I know.
Wow.
Thank you for having a heart for me.
thank you. Okay, you're welcome. But I would, I don't even have to know you. If I see someone messing with someone disabled, I'm like, God, cover me because I'm about to snap. It's just, you just don't do that out here. And just with him, how he went in and out of character, it flowed. It wasn't like, oh, turn off the light switch and he doing his other character as if nothing happened. What he said resonated with the audience, how he presented everything that he was going through and told the story, because he narrated his life. And just to see why the imaginary friend came in, and all the angels is what I call them, that was there to carry him through his life, when he didn't think he had the confidence to move on as I need to move on, he did. So this is a great play.
Well, what I want to say is that we got to work on that person that just snaps, in Jesus' name. You got to hope that they don't just snap like that, just because you're dealing with a intellectually disabled individual and somebody's treating them wrong. You don't want to snap like that. You want to educate the person on why they shouldn't be treating the person like that. So, that's that gap in between snap and educate, get to that point where you're not snapping on somebody, Betty Shabazz. That's why you got, Brenda here, she can be evangelist, Betty Shabazz. And you catch her, snap. I'm like, you got to come back, come back, don't snap. But, it's understandable, but he did an excellent job with it.
He did an excellent job. Club 50 have some great articles out there. You could check them all out at theclub50.com. Working on another good one. Hopefully I get all that information out soon. Ife Designs. Love you guys. Holiday season's coming up, starting with Halloween. You got the Thanksgiving and the Christmas and the New Year's coming up, but in between there you got baby showers, weddings, everything. If you need that wow factor, if you need a professional flyer, I'm your girl to get it done. Whatever you need, from banners, invitation, flyers, posters, give me a call. Or if you have my number, give me a call. If you're on social media, especially Facebook, you can message me. And another ad coming out tomorrow to help you with your decision. Because, again, I said, if you want to take it up to the next level, Ife Designs is the one that's going to get you there.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying this because she's my wife. Brenda's has done some excellent graphics, designs, you name it. I've seen some things out there, and sometimes I look, I'm like, wow, Brenda could have done this, and it's you're not going to be paying an arm and a leg for certain things, where you can get much better quality for something. I mean, this is her niche. I mean, she's owned this territory, and she does an excellent job with it. And so, if you want to give somebody something and it's real good quality, make sure you contact Ife Designs at ifedesigns.com, or if you have the telephone, like she said, contact her there. But just go to ifedesigns.com. I mean, ifedesigns at gmail.com. That's ifedesigns at gmail.com. Yes, ifedesigns at gmail.com. One more time, ifedesigns at gmail.com.
Thank you, babe. This relationship letter is pretty good. Dear LSTT, I was reading a post on social media about things happening around the world, and I came across this article. A woman who is a stay-at-home mom, father died and left her a sum of money, which allowed her and her husband to purchase their own home. Her husband insists that as her life partner, they should share ownership of the house, even though she paid for it. She said no, absolutely no. And he reminded her that he paid all the bills and the rent and everything when they was living in an apartment, and hinted at her that this might end their marriage. LSTT, what are your thoughts regarding this situation?
Okay, so you said her partner, so at first it made me think, are they married? So,
And she said he's her husband,
right.
but he
So,
said he a partner in life.
okay, so this was a house she had before they got married?
No, it's no house. Her father died and left her money.
Oh, left the money for a house?
Left her money for whatever she wanted to do with it. She chose to buy a house for her family, but she don't want her husband's name on the house. Now they married. but she don't know his
So
name.
what's the family that she's talking about? Her husband, and do they got kids too, or what? Okay, well, wow, that's rough. You're gonna isolate your husband and allow a gap that we was just talking about to be in your relationship. If you all are married with each other, you should share the things equally. Just because you got the windfall doesn't mean you shouldn't share with him. Now, if there's some issues in there that you're not sharing with us, is that your husband might have spent some money before, he's an alcoholic, he's a drug addict or something like that, or
Got a gambling problem.
got a gambling problem, maybe fools around. There are other issues that you're talking about. That's understandable, but you chose to be in this marriage, and if there's nothing really going on because you haven't shared anything, and so I'm assuming that these are not some of the obstacles that you're going through. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but as a Christian, you should know that you share with them equally. As somebody that, if you love that individual, you want to share with them as well.
Now I'm looking at, reading this, it's like, this is your husband. You was a stay-at-home mom. He paid for everything. You got blessed with some money. You guys share children, and he's your husband again. I'm going back to that. I mean, it's up to you. It's your money. But of course, I just say you better communicate this wisely with your husband. Seek that legal counseling on how to resolve this complicated situation. But you would think, I come into a windfall. Okay, Rick, what we gonna do? Let's sit and discuss what we're gonna do with the money. She just point blank said no. Like, he might be on his way out the door, and I'm gonna cover me and my kids. This is interesting, and they signed a sincerely entitlement. I don't think so, because he thought he was entitled as a husband to get half, depending on what state you live in, to get half. And if the half is, hey, I ain't trying to walk out the marriage. We're in the house now. are we gonna be in the house together, or the way she making it seem as though he can leave now, I got my money, type of thing.
And the thing I'm thinking about also is if he would have wanted the money, would it be different? Would you be saying, "Oh, we need to share this"?
It would be different.
It might be different. And so, I mean, I don't. I think the problem is not necessarily should you share with him or add him to. It's the fact that you made a decision not to. And so there's an internal problem with you that you have that you may not be sharing with us. There's something more to the story that is not being shared. And if you want to share that information with us, and that's great, but you have to be able to see your own self and say, why would I not want my husband, not my boyfriend, my husband,
Wait a minute.
a part
Not
of the-
my baby daddy.
Yeah.
But my husband
Yeah.
and my baby daddy.
Why you don't want your husband, and you wrote down husband on this thing, why you want your husband to celebrate in the same joy of owning a home like you have? And so I think there needs to be some interlooking within yourself, and there was another word I was looking for, but just look into, like, I think it said, if you look into your heart with a positive mind, take self-inventory, your woman in glory, sparkle. You need to look within and see why you thinking this.
And he did say, which tickled me, well, you don't want me on the house, you need to pay me back all that rent money I paid for us as a married couple living together. And I'm like, wow. I'm not even upset with him. I'm just still wondering what really went on that you just saying, no, your name is not going to be on this house.
Well, let's understand that doesn't help either. There's just two wrongs trying to make it right. You did that because you wanted to. I mean, so you can't now snatch that away and say, well, I gave you this. Then you're just widening the gap. We talked about that. It's something you gave. And I always teach this all the time. If you give 100% and look for nothing in return, and the other person gives 100% and never looks at anything in return, you're not looking for the reciprocal, then the relationship would be successful for its life. But when you get mad and say, well, I want this back, then you're being reciprocal. You did it because you was expecting and looking for something and you didn't get it. Now you want to you renege, and that's not going to help the marriage either. It's almost like I'm gonna force your hand, and you should never have such a situation where you're trying to force somebody to do something that they should do out of love.
Or it could have been, I was paying rent for us as a family. That's something I wanted to do to support the family, and my name still can't go on there.
And I'm gonna say this: that even that doesn't need to be brought up because you did that because you wanted to. This is not his problem to me. This is hers. She made this decision. Why? We need, why? Why did you? This is your husband. There's something more to the story that we're not seeing.
Entitlement, I don't think so. Contact us and let us know. Is there something more to this? Because it's a part two.
What's up,
this.
sister? Do your brother like that? We just told a brother to support Kamala, and you up there saying he ain't getting in this house.
Nope. Now he could get in here, but your name ain't gonna be on it. It's like,
Man, well,
really?
Okay, that's interesting. Maybe Papa said, I'm gonna give you this money, but you better not put that fool on there.
Yeah, maybe he was, hey.
I don't like him. That Rick McCain get on my nerves. Brenda, I'm giving you this money. Don't put that fool on there. Run, Forrest, run.
Okay.
We gotta get out of here. Hey, we got about a few minutes left, baby. You got anything you want to say?
I love you guys.
Oh, wow. You love them. Oh, wow. I don't even get that sometimes.
You get it all the
No, I'll
time.
never get I love you guys.
Oh, you will watch this. I love you. It ain't gonna be I love you guys.
Hey, and I love her. So she loves you and I love her. And we love the fact that you joined us on the show. We want to thank again Evangelist Bear Washington on the Win Show for being with us today. I don't know who we got coming in. I got to end this up real quick. So we'll talk about it next week. But thank you all for listening to the show. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. See you then. Woo! Facebook, YouTube. We're going to drop you off about a minute or 30 seconds or 15 seconds before we get out here. Hey, make sure you vote. Find a place to vote. Early voting, find out where you vote so you can make sure that you are legally registered and they are not playing with your votes. Again, shout out to those in Georgia for going out there and vote. And if you can vote early, find your polling place and try to vote early so you can have enough weeks. If anything changes, you'll have enough time to make sure that you can still vote. This is a pivotal vote. This vote for her is more pivotal than the vote that we had for Obama.
Yes.
It's that serious.
It's detrimental, y'all.
So get out and vote. Hey, we'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Bye-bye.